problem is always with those who are here and do nothing about what they have received. So for them, they are even worse off than those who are not here. Why? Because you have spent your time being here, you have received so much, but then you decided not to bear fruit with what you have received. See, I don't know. So I believe that tonight, when we receive in this current situation that we find ourselves in, we would maximize whatever that has been taught us so that we make good use of it. So thank you very much. We will be inviting our guests very soon. And as I said, feel free to interact. Thank you. one of the people, I don't want to mention the schemes, some of the Ponzi schemes that have caused havoc in Ghana. So he's a Christian. He's a chartered global investment analyst. He holds MBA in finance and BA in economics from the University of Cape Coast. He has a certificate from Ghana Stock Exchange, that is Securities Industry Courses, and is a licensed as a fund manager's representative by the Securities Exchange Commission Ghana with at least over 7 years experience in investment banking. He has a dream of pursuing PhD in finance or becoming a chartered finance analyst in the near future. Mr. E.T. Germany Jr. is the author of the bestsellers Career Wallet, Investment Diary, The 21 P's of Success, Business Path, Retire Rich, The Entrepreneur, Startup, Inside Out, and Master Your Money. So he's also a prolific author as well, written extensively on investment. He has facilitated seminars and conferences for a great number of institutions. Key amongst them are University of Cape Coast, the Cape Coast Technical University, Ghana National Association of Teachers, that is NAT, and PENSA, Pentecost Student Association, Max International, the National Service Scheme, Ghana National Fire Service, the Police Service, MOFA, and various churches and corporate organizations. Church, without much ado, let's invite our guest, Mr. E.T. Germany Jr. Say hello.
Thank you, everybody, for the opportunity to be here. When it is past 6, my planting decided to disappear. Actually, I have to try it. Me try it, me come and take a cry, so that in United Betsy. Amen. Amen. Well, I can't thank leadership for this opportunity to be here. But I believe our numbers will increase as we continue. And I know the few of us who are here. I think when I speak to 7 people. No matter the size of the gathering, I always speak to 7 people. So it is the individual's decision to be either part or not part of the 7. So, the Kasam and the 7. I say Obeka 7, so that by the time I do this short discussion, now Wanya and Pastor. Amen. Okay, so today we are looking at good financial management life. I don't know whether to speak from here or the projection was to continue. Please, can we all see from the projection? If you cannot, still there are spaces in the front. Please me up back or in Kakra so that you take advantage of the slides. Okay. I'll be working with some Bible verses, but because of time, we didn't read them here. But when you get time, you can actually have time to peruse through. One of them that actually I found so nice to open the engagement is that a good man lives riches for his children. Not his children, but his children. And that is the objective why I'm here. So that at least we will be the good men and women that will leave some legacies for our children. There is a definition of financial management, but also with time I will skip. So I will look at facts about personal finance management. definition of it is easy to get anyway. You could do books online and what have you. But it's not a definition that makes the difference. It's the understanding of the concept. So what are the facts about personal finance management? Number one, you cannot be rich by the size of your salary. Please, how many of us here prefer I speak French so that I don't leave anybody behind? Are we all on the same page that the English is okay?
Yes, yes.
Oh, good. Okay, so you can't be rich by the size of your salary. That is one of the facts. Number two, 20% of the world population controls 80% of the world resources. 20% of the world population controls 80% of the world resources. In other words, 80% of the world population have access to 20% of the world resources. But you will decide either to be any of this group, to join the 20% that controls 80% of the resources, or you continue to be among the 80 that controls 20% of the world resources. Number three, inflation does not respect any form of savings. Inflation does not respect any form of savings. Wealth creation is more of attitude than money. Wealth creation is more of attitude than money. If you don't allow money to work for you, you will work for money all of your life. That's a fact. If you do not allow money to work for you, you would rather work for it all of your life. The next, retirement is no longer about age. It's about your financial future. At what magic number will you want to retire? If you are 45 and you got the number, you can actually offer voluntary retirement. But if you do not get it, you will be 65 and you will still be at work. Hello? If you don't control money, money will do. That's the fact about money. If you don't learn how to control it, it will rather control you. How do you know that? A lot of individuals, they are just close to payday. They are out of hope. When the money finishes, they will come home. Are you with me? Yes. It is the money that will tell them what to do, not them telling the money what to do. So a lot of them will enter cultural markets, they will buy impulse. Come home and realize that even some material they don't need them. Because money is instructing them what to do. So it's a subject you should learn. Money is a subject, it's a science. We all work for money, but few of us understand what money is. But I believe today, as we look at good financial management life, at least we'll be able to pick up some nuggets that we can add up to what we already have. The relevance of today's discussion, that is on personal finance management. One, the skills to help you to stay out of debt. Number two, it will help you to control your money, not the other way around. Number three, live within your resources. Number four, it will help you to avoid waste. Along the line, we will see the difference between spending and wasting. Then it will also help avoid the word I'm broke. I'm broke. Yes, I'm broke. Then it will help you to attain financial freedom. Doing what you want to do with the money that you required at any point in time without going for a loan. or asking for external source. That is what we call financial freedom. But I know we know our country is not financially free. Okay, so even discussion at this time is critical. So let us know that yes, from individuals, nations, financial management is key. Those of us who own institutions and corporate organizations, if you fail to manage your finances well, definitely your business will come to weakness. So at all levels, financial management is key. In fact, including the institution of church. If you run a church and you do not understand how to manage your finances, even though it is non-profit organization, it does not suggest that you make losses. All of that is necessary. Now, what are the areas of personal finance management? One is income. The inflow. And with income, it can be any of the sources. In fact, people who are in the millionaire class, they have at least 7 streams of income. 7 streams of income. And the least of it is salary. So if your income is only related to salary, I pray that by the time we leave here, you have some other suggestions. Yes. Remember, in Genesis, the Garden of Eden was not watered by one stream of river. It was watered by at least 3 or 4. Yes. So if your life is related, or your livelihood is related to only one stream of income, 15th of every month, we will see you. When I say we will see you, with the bankers we will see you. You come to us, either to come and make a withdrawal of your investment, or you come and ask for Hosea. Because the take-home pay, which is from the salary, will not take you home. 2 weeks average, the salaries are all gone. So today is first, thankfully. We can all smile now because it's just first in the month. I believe you in 2 weeks from now, the story will differently change. Yes. So as we go along, we'll espouse some other streams that you need to actually understand and how to create it. The other component of personal finance management is spending. That is the outflow part of it. You earn and you spend. And there are 3 uses of money. You spend money, you save money, or you invest money. So, if you earn money, these 3 things will be waiting for you to do. But you will choose as to whether to do with them or not. But what we are good at doing is the spending part. We are easy to spend. And sometimes we get to realize that it didn't start from our childhood. If auntie is in town, he said, Duena and quarter of it. At that young age, we grow learning that money must be spent. So the moment you grow with that attitude, it takes deliverance for you, for you to know that no, money must not be spent if you do not apply the law of multiplication on it. And because that attitude is missing, we will see a lot of individuals, adults working, but the moment money is in their hands, they are able to demonstrate and to be good stewards of the money they earn. Now, the next is the savings. Along the line, we will explain how to save and why not to save. Then the next is investing. And the last part is protection. Now, the last part, protection, comes in when we talk about getting insured. Either your properties you acquired in this chain. When you earn and you are able to use the money that you earn to create other streams and to have assets. Along the line, there is a need for you to protect the asset that you have. But what we realized that in Ghana here, I don't know whether because insurance companies, they come to us so early, we rather start insuring what we have not have. Please, who works with an insurance company here? Okay. Please, is it true? Yes. We come to you to say, insure. See, the health insurance that we have as a nation is to just help us that we don't lose our health. And in case we lose it, there's a provision. So everybody who works here and you are a civilian, a percentage of your salary goes into health insurance. So that the day you lose your health, you can actually go for it. But sometimes we get insured things that we do not even have. And insurance is playing the game not to lose. But investment, you have nothing to lose. Now, with these 5 components of personal finance, it cuts across even institutions, like I said earlier. Now, all of us in this room, we are into 3 categories. And we call them the personalities of earners. We can classify you by how you earn your money and how you demonstrate the money you earn. So as we want to go through to understand personal finance management, if you know the personality you have or who you are into earning an income, then it will give you some headway to know how to act in managing your finances. One of them, we call them the instant gratifiers. Hello? Why are we too formal? Yes, I'm a radical speaker, so when I am like, I'm restricted to this place, I try. So if I see me move out of here, even though the camera is there, please forgive me. Yes. Now, with instant gratifiers, how do you know if you are one of them? They focus on now and today. If they earn money, their focus is on today. Instant gratification is what drives their life. They have nothing for tomorrow. In fact, they hide behind the Bible verse that says that tomorrow will take care of itself. Yes, without reading the other verses that follow. So that if they get something today being just the first day of November, yes, they are easily able to finish their money in all that they want. They just want to enjoy. And the tomorrow will take care of itself. And in their active lives, the time that they earn, they have nothing called retired life, and they don't think about it. If you mention to them, they say that, oh, when I get there, I'll cross. But believe you me, when you get there, you have no legs to cross. You know. Yes. So these individuals, they focus, their focus was out now. If I earn it, let me finish it. The next is the liability creators. Liability creators. Their focus is on items, objects. So if they earn, they continue to buy all the things that are available. If it is iPhone 12, 13, 14 that is in town, their focus is on just getting those things. And because they focus on objects, definitely they will acquire them. And when you continue to build your life on objects instead of assets, the difference is clear. And they are able to keep up with the Joneses, like the new things in town. If this is the new hairstyle in town, quickly, whatever way they'll get their money, the moment they are even marking time, salary way back, win a million, this is the tomorrow I will go and buy. This is the dress code, this is how I'm going to. Yes, so the mindset is not about any other thing but objects. And the last group, they are the asset acquirers. They think about the tomorrow. Any asset that comes to their hands, either cash or any, they always think about tomorrow. And if you check in Luke, Luke said that who among you will want want to build a tower, will not sit down to cast. So these individuals, anytime they get anything, they want to sit down and think. So instead of just saying that, oh, and those today and Philistines, they said that no, even though it's small, I will take some out and go and show. Are you getting the concept? They are not looking at today, so no matter how small it is, oh, it's just one more. No, one more, let me take maybe a quarter of it to their farm and go and show. The rest, let's manage it at the home. So sometimes, these people behave this way because they know that there is something called tomorrow, and that tomorrow is the harvest season. There are a lot of individuals in Ghana here which actually do not depend on salary to survive, because they were thinking and they were showing. And anything that comes to their hands, be it any form of asset, they always want to apply the rule of multiplication. And what does the rule say? In Matthew 25, when the master came and said, good and faithful servant, he says, you were given 5, you got another 5. That is 100%. If it was a law of addition, it would have been maybe 7, because maybe 5 plus 2 make it 7. But these people, they only want to see that, yes, any asset that passed through their hand, before they expend it, they want to see how they can actually get more value of it before they expend it. Let's move on. Stages of personal finance management. Yes, for you to be able to manage your finances well, one of the stages, in fact, the beginning is for you to make money. We call it the 4 M's of money. The first one, which is the M1, that is the stage 1, you make money. Please, is there anybody here who does not earn? Or who's not working? Whether you are working for somebody, you're working for yourself, or some systems are working for you. If you check on the quadrangle of earning, you either become somebody's employee, you employ yourself, systems are working for you, or money is working for you. That's the 4 quadrants. But unfortunately, a lot of Ghanaians and us, we are on quadrant 1. Somebody employs us and that's all. And salary, somebody says that it's just to keep you from exploring your own idea. The salary is to keep you from exploring your own idea. Now, when you make money, either through salaries, wages, allowances, and bonuses, at this stage, sometimes it's difficult to tell who is rich. Nominally, we can say those who earn more. At the bank, if you earn 5,000 and somebody earns 3,000, nominally we can say that the one who earns 5,000 is more, because he made 5,000 and you made 3,000. But at this level, with these nominal differentials, it does not hold forever. The moment you leave the bank, the nominal ceases to be the case. So in the case that maybe somebody say, I'm the senior officer, I earn more than you. You can only demonstrate that maybe after earning the money, you assign the money and you move to another stage. Other than that, nominally you can be earning more than the person, but in reality you are not. Because it is not how much you make that helps you in your financial management, and that guarantees your financial future. It is how much you are able to allow to work for you while you work for money. And because a good percentage of us are at M1, this stage you are very close to poverty. Because it is money you make that you say you will spend. And if you just make it and you remain there, making is not enough. Other than that, somebody who wins the lottery will say that yes, I am out of poverty forever. But the person's winning lottery, without moving to the other stages, 6 months down the lane, the person comes back to square one, no matter the size of the win. The second one, M2, you manage money. In this level, individuals are struggling to see if they can save. Now, if you earn 1,000 or a 5,000 or a 10,000, and at the end of the month, you spend more than 10,000 that you earn, In fact, some individuals do not only spend that, but they go ahead to even go for loans. So if you say somebody is, let's say, 1,000 earner is better than 800 earner, this is what we call normal differentials. At the bank, the day, yes, you can say you have more money than the person. But it does not hold true. The moment you leave, you turn the back to us. The moment you just leave the door, this is not going to go forever, depending on what the two of you do. So if Mr. Kofi is here and say, oh, this John is my subordinate, so he earns 800. In the course of the month, if let's say Mr. Kofi is able to expend 1,002, what it means is that the balance is negative 200. True? He earns 1,000, but he expends 1,002. So this is from loans or any borrowing from friends or whatever. Some are buying high purchases, awaiting the next salary, overdrafts and whatever. A lot happens here. Let's say John, who is the junior rank of Kofi, says that okay, with this, after receiving this amount, let me see how best I can manage 700 with my expenses. $200 negative, 100 positive. Which one is bigger? So you earn more, but nominally you only are bigger than the person at the counter. The moment you leave the counter, you cannot say that for sure. Because if you choose the routes that you cannot control your expenses within your resources, it means you start digging holes that will take a long time to close. So this person, if an emergency is okay, this person will go for more. Let's say at this now. This emergency comes, you say, okay, 100 is go. It's maybe 0. And I know that you know 100 is still better than minus 300. So sometimes you may even wonder that, wait, is it that God is not so unbiased? Or no, I call this category. And this principle, if it works, maybe along the line we'll get there. Wherever you know that an individual, this person in 5 years will be better than this person. He will be times 2 richer than this person because of the routes he's using. Now, in step 3, we call it multiply money. That's the M3. You multiply money. Any money that comes to you, you want to see how best you can generate income on it before you spend. And that is the level at which anybody you think is rich in the world has rich. Please, is there anybody we can consider rich in Ghana, Africa, or in the world? I think we know the world there is Elon Musk. Africa is Dangote. It's Ghana that we are not so clear with. Yes, by any case, they have all moved from the first stage of earning how much they earn as salary or whatever. They've moved beyond stage 2 and then stage 3. So as stage 3, investing to create other streams of income become ideal. And the last one, M4, maintaining money. There are some individuals who they are able to create money and multiply at M3, but for any reason, either ignorance or either misbehavior, they are not able to maintain money. For example, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, this individual really made money, multiplied money and had a lot of assets. But as we speak now, Michael Jackson died in debt. He lost it, he was not able to maintain. And if you check the recent living of Mike Tyson, this is not the Mike Tyson that we know in the early 90s. Because he's not able to maintain. In fact, recently I just saw one of his mansions. He used to keep body and soul together. So there are some individuals here that will say that, oh, if it was my time, your time meaning you lost that time. And what is lost? You're not able to maintain money, even after making it. So knowing any of these things, you will know where you are and see how you can make efforts to reach the next level. So let's say that all of us say we are at please don't die in debt, so that your children will say that daddy or he left debt for us to pay. At least maintain money, and when you are gone, they can point and say that yes, that way, that I told my assassin way that the father now the mine. But if you die in debt, definitely they also remember you, but not in good faith. Yes. Now let's move on. I don't know whether the speed is okay or also continue faster, but I like speaking faster. Okay, now back to Genesis 2:10 and 14. We have streams of income. So for the purpose of our study, I brought only three. And let's understand, if you don't understand the income you are earning or you work for, managing it becomes a dilemma. Because we want to manage our personal finances well. And our topic is managing good finance management life. Correct? Good finance management life. Yes, if you do not understand the income you are earning, you just cannot manage it. And now, we are saying active income. Active income is earned by individuals who are at M1. Active income says that you must be actively involved to earn me. Hello, please, do we know anybody or who can volunteer and say he's an employee of a company or an institution that he works with? Anybody? Any volunteer? Or we work on us for ourselves? The Ministry of Health, GS, GS. Okay. So if you resign from GS or you are fired, the salary will not come. You must be there to earn it. That is what we call active income. So anytime you dress up and say you are going to work, you are just going to work for money. But working for money is not enough until money works for you. So you realize that poor people will continue to work for money all of their life. But for the rich people, money will work for them. So if you earn active income, this income is one-time flow stream. The moment you die, it will cease. The moment you are fired, it will cease. In fact, when you even retire in your life, that income will cease. So wherever you find money to live till your maker calls you, that's not the problem of anybody. Now the next one is passive income. Once and always stream. This income stream is created once and stays to regenerate. For example, let's say that somebody here is a composer, can sing music. Is there any composer here? Some of us will sing only when we are doing worship, or when we are in the worship. Yes, let's say that you are able to come out with an album. That album is a one-time effort. But it will continue to regenerate income for you, even till you die. Because people will stream it, even when copies, like they use the old time when they do the cassette. If the cassette finishes, you can just go and run copies. You will not go and compose the song all over by yourself. For example, myself, I earn active income as a worker and in the banking industry. But my passive income comes from the books that I write. As we speak, I publish 7 books. So whether I die or not, that income will come. Sometimes I even go for programs. By the time I get back to the office, someone will tell me that yes, so and so have bought these books. And do you know what? Passive income is sweeter than this one. Anybody who have enjoyed these two streams of you realize that one is sweeter than the other. Salary is not sweet. Please, so if you are still at a salary, I'm begging you in the name of God, please start thinking about additional streams. Other than that, I am broke, always the part of the vocabulary. Now, the last one, portfolio income. This is free flow stream. It flows forever. And this one, even when you are dead, it will still work. And at that stage, it is money that creates money. Hello? If anybody have an investment of any sort, that money will continue to work for you. That investment will continue to regenerate money for you. Whether you are on holidays, whether you are fired, whether you are sick or dead, the assets will continue to regenerate assets. That is what we call portfolio income. Now, in all of these three, a lot of us, like we are at the F1, the M1, a majority of Ghanaians are at the active income. And unfortunately, that's the most taxed income in the world. As we speak now in Ghana, we don't tax portfolio income. Any investment that you do, when you are withdrawing the profit, no matter how the percentage, there's no going to tax you and say, pay this amount. But your latest salary, before it gets to you, the deductions have already surrounded it. Before you get the actual net of the net, it can't send you home. So please, in managing our finances, let's consider these streams. So that if you know you are on one or two, please see how best you can expand the streams. So that like the garden of Eden, the commentary says that God intentionally did it so that the garden will not wither. So if you have only one stream of income, when you say I'm broke, means you are withering. Hello? Let's move on. How to manage your finances easily. I've just given some highlights, but now I'm giving the how. Number one, budget. In Luke 14:28 to 30, that is where the Bible says that how many or who among you who will build a tower will not sit down to check the costs to see if you can be able to. Yes, many of us, when we earn a salary, we think that, oh, life is a continuous, so wherever the salary stock is enough. But it is not. If you want to manage your finances well, the moment you know how much is coming, you are able to calculate the income and the expenses. So, for example, in the usual diagram here, many of us say our salary, so it's one stream. So the inflow is one, but the outflows are many. Now, how do you control this one? Now, there are two ways of controlling how much money you are able to keep. Either you create more of the inflows or you reduce the outflows. If you are able to do both, it means you are leaving poverty behind. Hello. So let's say that you earn your salary, you disperse, you know that yes, this percentage goes here, this percentage goes here. You realize that the amount left will be so small. But if you decide to add additional stream of income, either a portfolio or a passive income, it's coming to augment the active income. So that where you are fetching from to do the outflows, there are more streams coming in so that you can continue to fetch. But if it's just one and you are fetching too many, definitely it won't last. So when your salary is not crossing 30 days, it's not your fault. Partly because the expenses are more, it takes more to live than to earn. Maybe when we get to one formula, you will understand this more. Let's move on. So please, learn to keep a budget. No matter how your level of education or your financial literacy. In Ghana here, actually, we have a lot of learned people, but very few financial literate people. So you hear that in between 2016 and 2020, even professors of economics are victims of schemes in Ghana. So how much my grandmother and English got into classroom? It speaks to the volume of our financial literacy, the level at which it is. Now, the next one is that, okay, let me just espouse more, maybe to simplify the budgeting. So please, if you have a rough paper, when the moment you are earning your 1,000, let's say 1,000 is the one coming, you know that that is your income. Just this small table will help you to save some cost. Now, let's say that water bill is coming, land bill is coming, school fees is coming, maybe medicals, that is medical expenses, maybe TNT to work and whatever, you check of food, maybe clothes, if there will be, even though some of us, we don't buy clothes every month. Then, maybe some traveling, if there is. You can see that the number continues increasing, but this one is at one level. So you will have to continue splitting. Before you realize you are in the negative. We also have the miscellaneous, if you keep some money aside for any contingencies. So this is just a simple one. You don't need some kind of big grammar to do this one at your house or when you get your income. Please, this can help. So that you know that yes, what I am spending on, along the line, we get to know the difference between needs and wants. So that on this budget, any individuals who are phlegmatics, no rather, sanguines. If you are a sanguine and you are going to the market and you don't have to buy list, believe you me, you will spend the money on things that you have not planned to buy. Please, do you know sanguines? They are the easier goers. If you insult them, they can easily insult you and they don't even keep memory of what they say. But if it's the opposite, the phlegmatic, before you even want to say something, you say the partial. So if he step on your feet, you continue to remind you anytime he meets you. Oh, that day, you are forgiven. But the moment the person sees you phlegmatic, you remind. But sanguine, he can insult you today, come back and insult you without even keeping memory. And if such a person is going to the market, you have no to buy list. With this small income, that will be all end. Before you buy things that are not needed, and you get home and realize that it was just a waste of money. Because the moment you are not able to buy your needs, you rather will buy your wants. Hello. Now let's move on to yes. So let's move on to the next one. Set the financial goal. Proverbs 21:5. You plan. Set up your financial goals or you build a financial plan. How much is coming and how much is it that I am going to earn? So that you know in the next 10 years how much am I going to be worth financially. So that is a goal that you have in mind and you are working at it. Because nobody has reached there without just planning how he's going there. You don't just get up one day and say you are the richest man in Africa. No, it is calculated. Deliberate act. And sometimes we add titles to them not because they have been to the highest level of education. Somebody is called doctor expert, but we don't know which university or which PhD he has been to. But because he follows these principles. And sometimes, like we Christians, we feel sometimes all about it is praying. But in one Christian, prayer is very minimal. It's more of principles than prayers. Hello. Other than that, the Asian world will not be richer than us. Ghana, Malaysia, Ghana, Singapore. They are not Christians as much. But because they follow the principles. And principle will not respect whether you pray or you don't pray. They are principles. For example, if you decide that there's no law of gravity, it's a principle. When you climb up the hill or the height and you leave yourself, when you hit the ground, definitely you appreciate that there is something to a principle. So that's how they work. Now, there is a formula you should apply. And the first one that we are doing is actually what we call the poverty equation. I don't know my time, and I wish maybe I can speed as to save time. Now, this poverty equation is saying that any income that you earn, you subtract how much you spend from it, and the remaining you either save or invest. But with this simple diagram, this budget, if you check the analysis of the bills, assuming it's 1,000, at the end of it all, the figure there will be a negative figure. So now, if the income you spend, you supply your expenditure, this figure will be a negative figure. That is why a lot of us, we cannot create wealth. Because this figure is a negative figure. The next month we come, the negative figure will come and add to the other. So by 12 months, you know that your negatives are built more than even your positives. So sometimes you see somebody's payslip, you say that my payslip is full. Why is trying to tell you that there are a lot of deductions that are not, you do not have liberty to even control how much is earning because there are a lot of deductions over there. And because of this, you will always be close to poverty, if not poor. Now, the financial freedom equation is that any amount of money that you earn, the income, you subtract how much you are going to invest, and the remaining you spend. Is it difficult to do? Yes, it's difficult. This one is difficult. The reason why this one will be negative will make this one difficult for you if you want to try it. Sometimes this principle, somebody will say that, oh, when I grow or when I get promotion, I will start. No, it is more of attitude than money. I've said it earlier. So if you cannot manage the little, like the Bible says, those who have done this, your little will be added to them. So whether you apply these principles or not, as difficult they will be, yes, anybody who tells you that creating wealth is simple or without pain, the person is lying. But because of the reward being so much, people see that it's fun. Let me do it. Let me show the harvest season will come. So sometimes when you refuse to sow and some people sow, when the harvest season comes, you want to suggest to them how they should spend. You have not seen poor people suggesting to the people how they should spend their money. And can we discover Udi to plane way, Udi to Ferrari way, now they are still hospital there. They are trying to suggest to you how you should spend the money, but they were not able to suggest to you when you were sowing. A lot of them have been able to do a lot of sacrifice along the line. So at the 60th family, that's why they decide to buy whatever you want to buy. People see that it's wasting money. But have you also considered behind the 60 years, how many of those years that he has gone hungry, even though he has money invested? Let's move on because of time. Yes, there's a rule of 70-30. This rule says that if you want to manage your finances well, any income that you earn, you are entitled to spend 70% of it. If you spend beyond 70, what it means is that you are eating your future today. When the future comes, you realize that what it was and you cannot call back. Now, the remaining 30% is also dispersed into Malachi 3 verse 3 and Genesis 41. Now, in the 30, the first 30 of the 30 like this, you have your 10%, another 10% here, another 10% here. This 10% goes to tithes. If you are a Christian that believes in tithes, hello? Now, the next goes to your emergency fund. And the last one goes to your future fund. But because a lot of us will decide to do this formula, and the negative answer is this, we are not able to do this one. So let's say that you have 1,000 you earn. You know that 700 is what you are going to spend. You live within your budget. You live within your resources. That is what we call personal finance management. Hello? If you want to live somebody's life with your income, it will not be possible. Because sometimes we imitate, either because he's my age mate, he's my change mate, he's living this kind of life. You want to transfer that lifestyle to your income. It won't work. That is why we say personal finance management. How you earn, you live within their resources. So that nobody will even know whether you are failing in life or you are in debt. But some people, they will use somebody's life into their income, and before they realize they are in debt. Now, the remaining 300 is what you are now going to disperse into maybe 100 for tithe, 100 for your emergency fund, 100 for your future fund. That makes a total of 1,000. This principle is so simple that you don't need many English to be able to do this one. You don't need a lot of vocabularies to do this one. It's a very simple application of principle. Who says that spend within 70%, the remaining is not for you. Disperse it this way. If you are somewhere, if you are a Muslim, as soon as I am in the outside, I will tell you, please, that 10 cities, even though you are not a Christian, go and give it as charity. Now, Israel is another investment. Let's move on. Yes. In managing your finances, there are some basic personal finance intelligence you should have. That is knowing the difference between assets and liabilities. Now, there's a thin difference between these two. Even though the books and literature can explain them so much, but to simplify it, anything that brings cash to your pocket is an asset. And anything that takes money out of your pocket is a liability. So if you see somebody using an iPhone 13 or 14, this particular item can be an asset or a liability, depending on what the person is using it to do. So if you copy wrongly, say, oh, item 13 about John, they are buying, so you are also buying. You buy it and only you are feeding it with credit, just to make calls Google, Facebook, and WhatsApp, and Instagram. At the end of it, you continue to feed that phone after buying at a higher price. But somebody who bought it to make it an asset, this person is able to build a shop in the phone. You know, these days, with digital advantage, you don't need to go and rent an apartment like this to do some of the businesses, especially as a startup. Your business and everything is on your phone. Sometimes people ask me, ET Console, where is it? I say, when you see me, you saw it. The moment you see me, you saw the institution called ET Console because I work with the business. Now, so if you have such an expensive phone and you are using it and it is regenerating money to you, it is an asset to you. But somebody who copied it after seeing you are checked with that phone, said, Mr. phone way. Mr. phone way. After buying, you realize that it's rather a liability to you because you are not able to regenerate anything to it. So please, with that basic intelligence in managing your finance, you should know this too. So that any moment you want to buy any asset, just check. Is it bringing money or is taking money out? So that you do the analysis very well. Yes. Let's move on to the next one because of time. Wants and needs. Yes, it is an intelligence to know the difference between your wants and your needs. We need food, we need oxygen, we need the basics. But some things are wants, depending on your financial life, not because depending on your age. You can be old, but your financial life, you are a baby. Somebody too can be young, but his financial life is an adult. So depending on your financial life, some things will definitely be needs for you, and some to become wants. And as you grow in your financial trajectory, some wants become needs automatically. Hello. Sometimes ago, living in a car or driving in a car was like a luxury. But this time you realize that with time it's getting to becoming more of a need. Because if you compare some of the expenses and the inconvenience that it comes with, you realize that it's becoming more of a need than an asset. So depending on your financial life, there are some things that, oh, I forget, it's not anything. Or buying an iPad or anything at all. But somebody, depending on your financial life, that particular need of somebody is your want. So please live within your resources so that you don't bring your wants to take away all your needs. So that when you are actually in need, there's nobody or nothing to follow. Hello. Let's move on. Yes, knowing the difference between savings and investments. It is a key financial intelligence that you should know when you earn your money. So that you know these differences and help you manage your finances well. Now, I'm putting in a small diagram, quick one because of time. This is our time axis. Number of weeks, number of days, number of months, number of years in this direction. Now, the value of money or the price of money. 100 Ghana cedis is supposed to remain 100 cedis irrespective of the year. True or false? Yes, so if you have 100 Ghana cedis in your bank account since January up to now, it's 100. So, this 100 Ghana cedis is supposed to be, but it is not. Now, depending on these two, whatever that you do with it, it will tell results. Now, if you decide to save, if you decide to invest, please, do you see the diagram? So this is the hypothetical thing. So if you say that, oh, I have 1,000, I have 100 at my savings account or under my pillow. Yes, by name is 100, but by value, it is not. And it is not the name that we take to market, it is the value we take to the market. So if you enter Kotokara market now, you have 1,000 currencies. The 1,000 you say that yes, I am 1,000 by name, but by value, I am 640. So you can only buy 640 items. Hello? Now, in managing your finances, if you realize that saving, there are two forces that influence the value of money. The force of inflation and the force of compound returns. So when you invest it, this force will pull it up. If you save it, this force will pull it down. So anytime that they are talking about inflation is what? Just understand it in this diagram. That it is taking my purchasing power away, that money that I have saved, as we speak now, our inflation is almost 40%. Because they have not yet finished the fiscal announcement of October. And I believe that by October's, it should cross what? The last one was 37. So if it becomes 40. This one will even reduce to 60 Ghana. So when you are going to the market with 100 cedis, you can only buy 60 Ghana worth of goods. Now, if the money is invested, because of the law of compound returns, an average returns of 20% a year will make it 120. So see the difference now. If let's say that, say your name, sister, your name. Okay, let's say that Sir Peter and Mrs. Faustina are of the same salary level. Now, if Mr. Peter chooses investment and Madam Faustina chooses savings, 5 years down the line, even though they are of the same salary level, let's say they are all earning 100 Ghana cedis, 5 years, Mr. Peter will be twice richer than Madam Faustina. Just because of the routes and the force that I will operate on the money that you have earned. So this time, if Madam Faustina do not take care, she may think that Mr. Peter has gone for maybe Sikadro or God is so biased that we come to the same church at the same salary level. In 5 years now, you have a house, you have a car, and I'm traveling to buy a taxi or trying to maintain my bicycle. Hello. Any questions? Okay, let's move on. Now the last here will be savings, spending, and wasting. How do you know that you are spending money? If you spend money on your needs, you are spending. But if you spend money on your wants, you are wasting. For example, assuming when we were all at senior high school, maybe if I give that an example, we all get it. Dining hall, they say, okay, dining bell has rang. Go to eat, you say, oh, this food is not sweet. The little money parents send to you, decide to go to the common market, rather buy food that you sow. Maybe you bought wache, egg, wele, fish, meat, all combined, plus spaghetti and everything, just to enjoy for your friends to see. That is waste, it's not spending. The dining food was just to keep your body and soul together. It is enough for the day. But you decide that you sort of just go into the other way, you want to go and waste the money. And a lot of us, we still do, even at our elderly age. There are a lot of instruments that we don't even know when they will wear them. They will buy one go, they will not use it the next one, they send another. Before I realize, oh, wait, now I'm going to do, let me send it for them to open it. Because it's been how many months they've not worn it? And we too, the gentlemen, we do a lot of wasting. So far as mobile money is available, see, mobile money is actually helping you to spend without regretting. Because many of us, it's difficult for you to cash money on you, count it and say, okay, I'm buying credit 50 Ghana cedis. But easily you can buy the Momo. Just because it's just the numbers, you're into, oh, small time is finished. So please, let's manage and see the difference clear. So that when you are spending, you actually check whether it is a real spending or is it a waste. And because finance management will help you avoid waste, one of the objectives I mentioned earlier. So if you understand this, it will save you trouble, to save you wasting your money. Because resources are scarce, like the economists will say. And money is one of them, very scarce. So if you sweat and get it, at least maximize its value before it disappears from your hand. Let's move. Maybe I'm getting closer to the end. Yes, stay out of debt. Proverbs 22 verse 7. When we are all young, we learn 22 verse 6. Training the child how he grow, not to forget. But the next verse says that the borrower is a slave to the lender. So the moment you decide that you don't want to stay out of debt, it means that you and financial freedom is very far apart. So whatever decision that you take, hard it will be definitely, it will be a hard decision. Assuming you already have some debts in your payslip, or people are waiting for you to send some money. It is not easy to clear your debts. But I want to beg you in the name of Jesus Christ, we are in the church. Please stay out of debt at all costs. Sometimes we feel like, somebody's money is free money. Like they are loaning us money or there is a free loan. somewhere there's something we call affordability. If somebody loses affordability, especially the teaching class, I'm working with teachers who I know. If the person loses his affordability, it's like the whole world has closed on him. But it shouldn't be. And sometimes one teacher told me that when he went to the school, he was orientated that he needs to go for some loans to create affordability. So where is this orientation coming from? Living with your own resources to live happily. Somebody is advising you go there and start your career with loans. Please, the issue is that if loans cannot help countries, it cannot help individuals. As we speak now, our GDP ratio is said that the loans as a state. So if that was good enough, this one from Ghana would have been very good. But as we speak now, because of that dependence, there are 5 mentalities that help and that hinder your ability to create and manage your wealth. One of them is the dependency mentality. One is civil servant mentality. That's salary is coming. When people do everything and they are counting on the next salary, as if, come on, if you want to leave yourself behind poverty, you need to be able to apply any possible force. Seek advice. They will help you to give you practical steps how to walk out of debt. And you see that there's a chain here. The moment, that is why the Bible put it so. Because of that, I will read it again. See, the moment you have gone to borrow, you are a slave. And what do they do with slaves? So the person will tell you when to sleep, when to wake up, and whatever. See, there was some conversation around is it lesbianism and gayism and whatever. As a state, we say we don't want it. But so far that we continue begging them. If they still take it, what will you say? So the Bible never lied on any of this. And the Bible is the most book that I talk about finances. The last count I had 800 verses. So if you are a Christian, God is our Father, having all resources and you are poor, check the principles that you are applying. Because we need to start enjoying the heaven while here. And sometimes we have the misconception that the poorer the holier. It's not true. So that, oh, if I am Mama means I am more Christian, I am more Holy Ghost. No. Please, you can still live in abundance and be spiritual. Because if your father has all of it and you have none of it, there's a problem. A problem that may even seem that maybe he's not your father. If your father is, let's say, Obama or the chief of Obama, at least in a priesthood, you should live some life that really shows that you are from the royal family. But if your father has all and you have none, there's a question mark as to whether he is actually your father. So those of us Christians, in fact, all of us are Christians. Sorry, I thought I'm in the appropriate. So as we are Christians, please, let's try as much as possible to demonstrate with these good stewards of the resources that we are giving, so that at least listen, stay out of them. Please, even if you forget about anything, when you go, just remember, somebody come here to tell you that stay out of them. So if anyway the Ghanaians and policies, in Ghana when they say loans, when they say bonds, they are all debts. Euro bonds with nice name, whatever Ghana city bond, nice name, it is debt. Bills, all those treasuries, they are all debt. So the moment you continue to be in debt, definitely, your freedom is at stake. So if it does not help countries, let me repeat, it won't help you as citizens. So if somebody is promising you something that will go for debt, but there are some instances that will go for debt. Maybe time of my allowance. Maybe one day. Yes. Awesome. Please, I don't know whether that's the last. Okay. I said that personal finance management is a deliberate adventure. With a decision and a requisite attitude, it is possible. That is my quote. It's deliberate too. God will not come down and say that no, this is how I want to tell it. It's deliberate from you. Because the Bible does not say that for lack of money my people perish. It said lack of wisdom. So this one session we have, short one, is just to trigger that wisdom process. And we know that there's a clear difference between wisdom and knowledge. So when you gather university graduates or gather professors, they have gathered knowledge over all their lives to get those titles. A medical doctor who's smoking or drinking is not about issues of knowledge, it's issues of wisdom. Please, I hope I'm communicating before I sit down. So please, even as we are children of God, let's try to apply wisdom so that it could be referenced that for this assembly, because of wisdom, we are progressing. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zeman. Please, we will allow some questions if you have any. The pastor would like to speak to you.
Sir, thanks so much for such a powerful presentation. You touched on investment, but you didn't give us any clue to the risk. Because my 100 Ghana can either appreciate or depreciate in value. So imagine A invests and still depreciated as 60 Ghana, and B invested, okay, A has put the money into savings and depreciated as 60 Ghana, and I invested expecting 120. By the end of the day, I end up losing everything. So the two of us who has really made, if you can, at least start on it for us.
Okay. Thank you, Reverend. Yes, because of the nature of the presentation, I will just touch on some areas and won't go deep. If you do an investment, anytime there is returns, there is a comparable risk. In fact, returns of any investment is to compensate you for the risk you accepted. So when the returns are too good, the risk is also at bad. Now, what we realize in Ghana is that individual investors, they are interested in interest rates. If the person that sells the investment is able to promise you a rate higher than the economy can support, because your interest is there, you don't ask any question, you push the money to them. But if you want to do proper investments, the interest rate and your returns is the last thing to ask. But majority of Ghanaian investors, they start and end on interest rates. If you say 30%, if the economy can support 12%, you won. They don't even get to know whether that system you are investing is credible. And I've mentioned earlier that there are a lot of schemes right now. And how do you know that there are schemes? When the returns promise is too good to be true, it's not true. So when you want to do proper investment, we advise you that please seek good counsel. It will not be just like I've heard some people are doing it. I don't want to mention companies that people actually have heard. People do it and they went and they rushed to. In fact, somebody actually borrowed friends' money, add his own money, and go and do one of the ahead. Unfortunately for the person, it didn't even mature for him to access. So he's owing other people while he's losing his own money. So please, and there is no genuine investment that you do and lose. In one of my books called Investment Diary, I said investment is not gambling. I don't know if that will permit me. So if you are putting an investment, your money into any investment, and the chances are that you may not get it, it's gambling. It's lottery. So when you do lottery, when I heard the cry of 2016 or 17, I was not so much happy because of the cry. Because if you go and stake a lotto and you win, you are happy in your corner. When you lose, you should be able to be happy at your corner. But Ghanaians, we go and do wrong investment in Ponzi schemes. When it backfire, we want the whole world to hear that, oh, we are the victims. It shouldn't be. And we are in digital information age. You don't need to say that you have to go and do economics or finance to understand these things. with even a call on somebody. That's why we have finance investors, advisors around. At least a call can save your trouble. Please, I don't know whether I've answered.
Okay.
Yes, please.
No, on Pastor's question. What Pastor asked. I'm not okay with this, so I want to do a follow-up.
I'm not okay with it. So it's a follow-up.
Yes. I just want to be. Are you saying that there are no times that you can do good investment and still lose? Because Pastor is saying that in case somebody saved, got 60 cedis, or the money reduced to 60 cedis, is there no possible? For instance, Data Bank will receive our money, will definitely invest into something, I am sure, which may be subject to other factors probably in the economy that they are investing. Is it possible that you do a good investment and still lose? I think that's what the questions sought to, or that's my understanding. Are you saying we can do good investment and lose?
Okay. Yes and no. Yes and no that if you do an investment with a credible institution and the management fail you, you can lose it.
Yeah.
It's like asking if a professional driver can have an accident and an unlicensed driver can. Because the management at any point in time can slip off. If they do, they will invest into, as we said, invest into some issues or some products that will not really serve the interest of the clients. For example, in those times, in the laws of the country, if you want to do investment, there are percentage to which of this investment product, whether you are going to bond, you are going to equities, there is always a percentage payout. Now, if I decide that I am promising a higher rate, and I want to just do it behind the laws, and say that, okay, economy is giving us 12%, I want to give it 30%. It means that I am exposing you to risks that is not governed by the rules, even though I am professional and licensed.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I am taking a risk for you. And because you are interested in interest rates, you also do not ask. Some records came out that some of the investment firms, even though they are genuine, the management decided to invest clients' money in school feeding, in construction work. Let's assume, for example, that you have done some investment with any firm. For your emergencies or whatever reason that you need the money, you go and we say that the money is not available. We automatically roll it over without giving your consent or whatever. Now, the moment you are not able to access your funds, you definitely will tell your neighbor, this neighbor I understand can. The person also can. Before you realize that small problem is becoming a bigger problem. Yes, because the monies invested are not in the proper portfolio to respond to the objective for which the fund is created. So yes, management of any investment firm, if they go contrary to the rules, definitely. It's like asking whether Ronaldo can be given a red card or Messi. Yes, they are the best players of the world, but if they do a foul play, the regulator will actually show the card. Please, I don't know whether I'm clear with the explanation.
My question has to do with what the apostle has asked. I've heard it. The apostle put it, let your money work for you. Yes, those in the government establishments, for instance, let your money work for you. You go to work, maybe at 8 a.m., you close at 5, and you have some money to invest, but you don't have the time to go to do that stuff. I'm believing you know some institutions in Ghana where you can push your money in and go and rest, and then the money will generate itself 100 times over. So maybe some years after you go, they'll tell you you have earned so much. By your ethics, can you mention some of these institutions to us? Now, later, they were doing it. SIC, they were doing it, but you may know some potent ones you want you to put your money there in some good it allow
Yes, so then I practice, I cannot. That's why I'm trying to avoid any way possible, but I'm trying to use scenarios so that you can follow me. It's very wrong to do that. Yes. When we even talk about investment, sometimes and many times, the potential investors think that financial investment is investment. But in the conversation here, I have not come to talk about kind of investment. Now, if you have built a house and rent, if you have bought a plant and resold, that is flipping of land, all of that is an investment we call real estate. If you buy stocks of companies listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange, close to about 40 companies, you are doing what we call equity investment. Now, if you also buy dollar or any currency, that is what we call forex investment. So investment is just general to say like food. So I have just come to talk about food, but if you want to talk about wache, jollof and this, these are the specifics. And because of the nature of the presentation, I'm not going into details to talk about, if we talk about investments, what will it be, and what are the forms and shapes that it takes. Please, I hope there is clarity, or more person will come. So please, I will not be able to mention any company's name. Yes, it's again my practice.
Yeah, I think I was satisfied with the answer you gave. But back again to our pastor's question, or to your present, you said that customers are usually interested in interest rate. What else should we be interested in? Apart from the
Yes, the
interest
safety of your woman.
Yes, because the other answer said that it could be a credible institution and it may still fall into a ditch. So is it just about knowing that it's a credible institution, and is that all we should look out for, apart from interest rate?
Yes, knowing that the institution is credible is a percentage of you doing the right thing. It's like knowing that this driver I am boarding on is a licensed driver. It's a good percentage of your discretion that yes, I may reach my destination. But that license is not a guarantee. That's what I'm saying. If the driver is blank driving, even though he has driven for 30 years or whatsoever, for the fact that he's blank driving today, if he has an accident, those who know where he's coming from before entering the car will understand that it's no news. Please, is there clarity?
So, can I put some
So
clarity?
one of them, please let me add more. So when you want to do proper investment, one, your investment objective, your risk tolerance, your timeline, and the firm. And with the firm, there is a regulator in the country that you can actually call, free call. I want to do investment here. Is this company safe enough? Is it licensed? Is it compliant with the rules? If all of this is satisfied, I think you are 90% okay. If it is 100% okay, there is nothing called risk. Please, yes, there are
Okay, then we'll take these three last questions sake of time. So one from Pastor is okay. So one from the Collins, one from the Prof. Also want to ask the question. So Mr. Nancy will be the last person. Please let's try to make this time. We're supposed to close at 7:30 on this fast.
Okay, please, mine is, I believe every investor is looking at the returns as well as the risk. So my question is, to what extent is the companies that we invest in insure our investment for us? Because I believe investment and insurance should go hand in hand. So in case the unforeseen happens, the insurance takes care of the risk, if not in totality, at least a majority of the risk, that we don't end up losing everything that we put in. So to what extent do investment companies take up insurance as far as our investments are concerned? That is my question.
Okay. To the best of my knowledge, I've not seen any investment firm taking an insurance because of the clients. And for my little knowledge, I'm not even sure there are laws to it, like the regulator, that you have to go and insure. Even the commercial banking, there's a conversation that they want to have something like that. I have not even materialized. So, what I would say is that there is nothing called insurance in an investment to cater for any mishap of that. The regulator is there to do the surveillance and the supervisory role so that you comply. It's like asking, say, what is the insurance that a player falls at the pitch and is sick? What is the insurance that the person will get hurt? The regulator, the referee is just there to make that, ensure that there is sanity in the game. Please do you get it? But you don't go for insurance because you want to do an investment. I don't know whether my answer is clear enough.
I'm not so convinced. The reason why I'm not so convinced is nobody will want to enter into an investment and at the end of it or losing. So if I don't know if it is pertaining to Ghana, but I believe when we look into the outside world, investors they do take up some sort of insurance to cover up the risk. Let me come back to Ghana. If you are going for a loan, they will take a portion of the money that you are going to get from the bank as an insurance. So in case you default, that insurance is going to take care of the loan. So if investors can also look into that, I know it is happening elsewhere. It is not in Ghana. Then if this is not checked, then it means we all stand at the risk. You take your money there, when you don't get it, whom do you blame? So going forward, we have to look into these things. If we want to take it up, then I believe it is a good cause.
Sure.
So we have to push it. And we, the citizenry, we have to be at the forefront of pushing this so that we don't end up using our monies to so-called spunky schemes and the rest. Thank you very much.
And I know this will bring to cater for the cost of insurance. But it will be a free lunch.
Yeah, investments.
It also has that some situations you go for it. It's all the same.
Okay. So one of them is issues of livelihood. Let's say that you have resources of your funds and you needed to save somebody's life in your family. Be that the person is sick, that you have resources of resources. For the fact that you need the person to be alive, going for loan will be better. That you are owing any other budget with any higher returns to pay, it's better than losing such a person. So it's one of the key. And also, if you are going for a rate that you are using it not for consumption, but for investment, that can regenerate equal and above the repayment of the loan. It's also another case. In a case, for example, let me enlarge with Ghana. Assuming all of those construction, the loans that we contracted were not for consumption but for investment. The time that many of these loans are maturing that we have to pay, the investment that we would have done would have actually sold for whatever that we have gone for. But if we go for loans and we consume, definitely the loan will still continue to follow us. And sometimes we are likely to even go for another loan to pay off one loan. And that is debt. Yes. Please, I will give to
I think same question that Professor asked. So thank you.
So we take the last one.
I think it is the same, but I will twist a bit.
my lecturers are here. So they choose our questions.
We talk about not being, it's not good to be in debt. And I'm a Manchester United fan, and I know our owners, the Glazers. took about 8 million pounds to come and buy Manchester United. And because they know the returns that they will get, they've had more than what they invested in. So I think that the discussion should be on which form of investments can we do. It's more of in the capital market or in savings, but there are other areas that we can invest. So I think our discussion tonight is more narrow. If we could have expanded to other form of investments. The last one is this on a lighter note. You talk about wisdom in applying your investment techniques. What about somebody? Okay, the first question is that is it bad to do Ponzi? That is one. What about somebody who knows around and enter in quickly, get his returns, and leave? Is that person wise? Thank you.
How many questions now? Yes, on the issue of the discussion of investment narrative is deliberate. Because the topic given was not to come and talk about investment in itself. So it's deliberate that we are just looking at the day-to-day personal how you can do your part to balance your small money so that this life will go on. So pardon me if I'm not delving into investment. In fact, the whole book I published on investment is over 200 pages. So if I want to delve into investment, it will be a long discussion. And the issue of policies is anything that is not legitimate, if you do it, it will not justify you doing it right. Because Ponzi, for the benefits that we even have lecturers here, you may know where the name Ponzi is from. It was named after the man Ponzi, who actually drafted that scheme to take advantage of individuals who want to do investment but do not know the difference and cannot read between the lines. And the name has come to stay. And every economy where financial literacy is low, individuals will definitely seek to see if they can take advantage. Now, as to whether you are wise to go in and go out is another thing. Yes, individuals will always benefit from every Ponzi scheme. And at the end of it all, individuals will be victims of it. So, and you don't know, averagely worldwide, Ponzi scheme have a life of 7 to 8 years. Now, but as to whether you join in, it has reached the time of collapsing or not, that is why you can't tell. Yes. And human nature, we are all Oliver Twist. With the pyramid, we call them pyramid because it moves in this shape. Some individuals will start it, but because we are Oliver Twist, let's say you make in 1,000, they double it to 2,000. Oh, they are paying. You tell your neighbors to come and pay. Your place will continue to add it. Now, as some individuals will live here, they have earned something quickly, they walk away. Some individuals will stay to the source. It is our human nature. Oliver Twist, you don't want more. If your 10,000 can be 20,000 at the end of the year, why won't you stay? But like I said, when it is too good to be true, it is not true. So when you see the difference, what will stop me from joining any of them is because of the potential risk. So why not look at the safety of the little I earn instead of chasing rates? So when you are doing investment with the motive that the higher rates investing firm is where you are going, that is what we call chasing rates. And it is so bad. Globally, it's not helping anybody. Like your interest is that any investment that gives higher rates, that is your interest. You are not checking on the credibility of the firm, the experience, and whatsoever. All is interest rate. And that's one will be amount to more or less gambling. And when you gamble in those places, you can't. I don't know whether I did a good job.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, I guess as I said, the scope of the topic that we gave to you limited him in delving into other aspects, and we trust that we will come back at another time.
Please, I love your notes. One principle of success. The more you live before God, the better you stand before men. So one of the principles is prayer. help us. And what have you? All of them start with the letter P. This one is business pack. On business proposal writing, business branding, business finance, and business planning. Then I have one on investment diary. All that we need to know about investment. All the capital market, the debt market, the money market, and what have you. Then we have one on retirement. This is the most recommended for everybody. So that one I brought 10 copies. Yes. The highest price is yes. Before the inflation, I'm not adjusted. This is 36. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much. So we have copies here. You are interested in seeing them. Shall we please stand as we Shall we please stand? I want us to share the grace.